Hi guys, it's Shahira and I'm back with my second video blog or video tutorial, and I'm sorry that my camera's crooked and my shoulders look like they're the wrong side or they're uneven. They're not in real life, it's just I can't get the camera stand to work. So basically this is the topic of how to get into modelling. I run my own blog, and that's shahiraxo.blogspot.com. You can also get it through my website, and that's www.shahiraonline.com, and Facebook like page. And I often get comments or emails or mails, and one of the ones I get asked the most is, how do you get into modelling? Or how did I get into modelling? How can I get into modelling from somebody? So for a while I started to reply to people, and I'd be writing out a long email, but then I get asked again. And I'd either have to write it all out again, or I'd have to go and find the email or the mail and copy and paste it back to the new person who was asking me. It just got a bit too much. So my response lately to anyone who's been asking me, and if you're someone who's asked me and you've been waiting a while for this, I'm sorry, but I've just been saying I'm going to blog on it. So it's taken me a while to do it, but it just takes a bit of time. I thought the quickest way to do it would be to do a video blog, and that way if I forget to write anything I can fill it in my written blog. So I'll leave a link to my written blog below. So I'm going to say as much as I can say on the video, and then I might have extra pointers on my my written blog. So if you've just found this through YouTube and you're not following my blog, then go there and there'll be more tips, and so see the link below. Remember to subscribe. Okay, I've written down a few pointers on my little pad, just to remind me so I don't forget anything of how to get into modelling, because I want to make sure I make it as clear as possible for you all. The main thing is how I got into modelling. That's my experience, that's all I can tell you. You might get spotted for modelling, but you might be a while waiting for that to happen. You have to be in the right place at the right time. So if not, I'll just tell you how my own experience of getting into modelling. Basically why I decided to get into modelling was my best friend died in Christmas 2009. And after that, my mind just changed on life, and I started to think, life is so short, you've got to chase your dreams. I'm a big believer in chaser dreams, that's what I always quote. And you just have to stop caring what people think and live your life for you. Do what it is that you want to do, and just whatever, if that's modelling, get up and do it, you know. So 4 months after my friend died, I started modelling, and that was in April 2010. So when I say I started modelling is I researched it and I did a modelling course, a one-day modelling course. Now I'm not sure if these exist in every country, so they might not exist in your country, so you'll have to do your own research and Google research on that. But they definitely are plentiful in Ireland. Nearly every agency is doing them now and has got on the bandwagon. But when I did mine, I did it with Absolute School of Modelling, and that's what I know, so that's all I can really talk about, that's my experience. Absolute School of Modelling is a one-day course, crash course in Modelling 101. So everything you need to know about modelling. So you basically in the morning you do your theory, you learn what you have to learn about networking and all the rest. Then you do your runway walking and you learn how to runway walk, and a crash course in that. And then you do a photo shoot and you get your 6 photos. I think it's 6, it could be 8, but I think it's 6. Anyway, the best thing about the Absolute School of Modelling course is that you get your photographs to start your portfolio. So you get 6 photographs, which is just more than enough to approach any agency, and it's a starter. It's a very good starter of your portfolio, which is a key thing when you're modelling. You have to have a portfolio. But if for any reason you can't do the course, it's not in your area or anything else, there's other ways around it as well. So if not, I have written on my pad, if you can't do the course, network. So Facebook is your best friend, all social media sites are your best friend, and get to know other people who are in the industry, from photographers to other models to makeup artists, stylists, all the rest. It's a very big industry, and just network on the social media sites and get to know people in the same industry that you want to get into. It will be your best friend throughout your modelling career. The next thing is time for print. So this is when, if you're an amateur model, you haven't started getting paid yet, you don't know what you're doing as such. So find an amateur photographer. If they're professional, they might want you to pay a fortune for a professional portfolio. So if you don't have the money, there's other ways around it. You can do time for print, which means work with an amateur photographer, or a photographer who's just wanting to build his portfolio and get more models modelling for him, amateur makeup artist, amateur stylist, that type of a thing. and then you all work for free, but you'll get your images in return. So everyone gets the images. The photographer gets the images for his portfolio, his photography portfolio, the makeup artist for hers, and you for yours. So it really works out very well, and that is a main thing to do, is just building a portfolio for yourself. Next, there's a site called Model Mayham, and you can go on there and you can upload your pictures for free. You can make your own free profile, kind of like a Facebook profile, but it says more stuff about you. Actually, kind of more like a Bebo profile, if you remember, because you used to write all stuff about you. So you'd write, I'm an amateur model and I'm looking to build my portfolio, or I've done a bit of modelling, this is the experience I've done, and this is that type of work I'd like to do, or I'm a professional model and I only accept paid work, whatever it may be. Anyway, you write up your little bio, whatever describes you, and then you put up your pictures. And then there's casting calls, and you put in your area, see the casting calls in Ireland, or the casting calls in Galway, or the casting calls in Dublin, or the casting calls in wherever you are, France. And if you're interested in them, you can go in and leave a little comment and say you're interested. And then the person who posted the casting call will go through and pick the suitable models that they need. And then you'll get a mail, or you might not get a mail, don't worry, just reply to whichever ones. You can reply to as many as you want that you're interested in. So hopefully you'll get some work from that, and that'll be your time for print, and you'll start getting work experience. And work experience is a really important thing if you're not lucky enough to just get spotted and told to model and be on the catwalk in Paris or something like that. So it's more realistic. Next is, so that's Model Mayhem, which is free. Next is Open Days. Agencies aren't a secret cult or group that only some people know how to get into. There are open days for the public, and anybody can go along. Now, they always say that you don't need photos to attend an agency open day, but what I would say to you is you have more behind you if you go with some photos. I would encourage people to try to go with some photos after building a small portfolio for themselves. Because the main reason is you want to show yourself in different lights. If you go in there and you don't have any photos, all they're seeing is you, however you're presented. And they're not seeing how versatile you can be, and that is a key thing. Remember to be versatile as a model and to have different types of pictures, not the same type of picture all the time. I have some pictures in my portfolio where I have a mohawk, and I'm wearing leather and everything, so it just shows me in a different light, that I can be kind of almost different characters. It's like acting a little bit, and the different things you can do. So don't limit yourself. Make sure you're versatile and you have those pictures to show for it, and you'll have a better chance of getting with an agency. If for some reason you're unsuccessful and you don't get with that agency that you go to the open day for, go to another one. And if you don't get into that one, go to another one. You'll get in somewhere. You might not be everyone's cup of tea. The main thing in the modelling industry is that you really have to have a thick skin. I mean, really thick. Not literally, but that you don't let things hurt you, because you will get rejected. You'll get rejected loads and loads and loads of different times, but you have to just keep going. It's what you want to do, so just don't ever give up, and you'll get there in the end. And just believe in yourself. I think you should always be your #1 supporter. As crazy as that sounds, but it works. You really have to push yourself. So there are the open days. Go to as many as you can till you get with the right agency, and you want to be with the right agency and who believe in you as well. You just don't want to be signed for the sake of signing with somebody, so you need it to be mutually beneficial, and don't pay any money to be with an agency, because sometimes they do that. Once you're with an agency, the work doesn't stop. It's my next bullet point. And what I mean by that is you can't get with an agency and then sit back and wait for phone calls to get work, because if you do that, you won't get any work. You have to get up, get your name out there more, still network on the social media sites and stuff like that. Ask for a go-see list from your agency, which is a list of clients, and you have to go and see them, meet with them, introduce yourself to them, show them your book, maybe leave them a comp card, which is a modelling card with some small pictures on it, and your statistics, which is your height and your measurements. So you have to go and do your go-sees. You're not getting paid to do them, but you have to make time to meet with them so that you can eventually get work and get paid work, hopefully. Once you're with an agency, the work doesn't stop. So I've said that already. Now the last thing I have written is don't be bitchy, and focus on yourself. If you went around focusing on other models and what they're doing, I mean, you'd have a hard time, because there's always going to be other models doing work, and the main thing is that you have to focus on yourself. It's, in a way, it's kind of a narrow-minded thing, but you just have to focus on the work you can do and what you're going to do next, because you won't get very far if you're dwelling on, oh, this model got such and such a job and why didn't I get that, or anything. You just have to focus on what you're doing, what you're able to do, and what you can do next, and what you want to do. Focus on yourself. Don't be bitchy. People don't like that in any industry, but especially in the modelling industry. You know, if you're going around talking about another model, it won't get you very far, because you have to be able to get along with everyone. You have to be able to work with everyone if it comes to it, from photographers to hairstylists to stylists to makeup artists to other models that you work with. So don't be bitchy, try to get along with everybody. The next thing I'll say is the pageants. So things like Miss Ireland, Miss Universe Ireland, competitions like that. I've done my fair share of them, so you know they are worth doing. I think you learn from everyone that you're in to a certain extent, to a certain amount, I should say. You do learn from everyone you're in. It's a chance to practice your public speaking. It's a chance to practice your runway walking. So it is worth doing. It's definitely worth doing the pageants. But the only thing I would say to you is, if you're going into a pageant, make sure you know the requirements for that pageant. So just for example, there was a big controversy there recently. Everyone knows about the Miss Ireland competition. One girl won, and she was actually from Galway, from where I'm from, but then it turned out she was too old for the pageant. Now, she actually wasn't very old, but she was too old for the Miss World requirements. So therefore she couldn't be Miss Ireland going to Miss World, because she didn't suit the age limit or age bracket. But there are other requirements that might kind of go under the carpet a little bit, but they are there. For one, height. You have to be, I think it's 5'7" for Miss Ireland in your flat feet, so with no heels on and no shoes on at all. I think you can't be pregnant or have a baby, and I also think you can't be married, but I'm not sure. Just look them up yourselves, Google them. So if you're going into a competition that has a requirement or a heat, say if you're going into Miss Cork, and if you win Miss Cork you go to Miss Ireland, look up the requirements for Miss Ireland so that you know what they are, because the person who will win Miss Cork or Miss Galway or Miss Dublin or whatever it is will have to suit the requirements to be in the Miss Ireland pageant. Otherwise you'd have to be very, very lucky and everyone else not suit the requirements either for you to win. So if you're a 5'5", you know, just know your chances aren't great for winning the actual competition. It would be more between the two people who were tall enough to be in the Miss Ireland competition. So just remember that. But I'm not saying don't enter them, because obviously I've entered loads of them, and you make friends that who are in the same industry and into the same thing as you, which is always great. You get your hair styled, you get to be glamorous for the day, but you also learn so much from it, from the public speaking to practicing your runway walking and just getting more confidence. It definitely helps you to grow in confidence, but just don't be disheartened or disappointed. It's not that you're not the prettiest, it's not that you're not the most suitable. Well, actually it would be the most suitable. It's just that you don't meet the requirements. The person who wins will have to meet all the requirements, and then the person who wins Miss Ireland would have to meet the requirements for Miss World, and that's why Miss Mayo, who won Miss Ireland this year, didn't unfortunately get to go on to Miss World. So just look into those requirements. It's something that's come to light recently. If you have any more questions, just post them below or post them on my blog, where I'm going to put up some more information. So I hope this has been helpful in some way and has shed some light on the industry. I will do more blogs on modelling if that's what you'd like to know. Just make sure you ask me the questions so I know what type of questions to answer and I can be prepared. Okay, I hope it's been some help. Bye! Mwah!